health is on the increase. That is what it also means. And in reproductive health, the women, you cannot take out the gender issues because the woman is seen as the most affected. She's the one that is pregnant. She's the one that carries the baby. She must have good medical facilities for safe delivery, for a healthy child, and all that. So the government must look into this so that we can have healthy children, healthy women, and of course, you know that a healthy nation is a wealthy nation.
Okay, before we come back to the UN man, let's look at the issue of mortality rates in Nigeria. 70% youth population. That points to the fact that the mortality rate in Nigeria has dropped to some extent. So should we say we are at a point where we can, at a cruising level right now?
I don't know what you mean by cruising level.
Is it a who we are?
That the mortality rate has dropped is good for this country. It shows that we are getting better by the day. And that means that our youth, it shows that if mortality rate has dropped, it means that life expectancy is on the increase, which is good for us. That's what it simply means. And that means that we have more people who are able-bodied, we have more people who can contribute positively to the economy of this nation.
But it also means that we have more people that will help to increase the population beyond the 300 million by 2050.
Not necessarily, although fertility rates and probably a drop in mortality rates could affect these figures. But then, the fact that population increases does not make it adverse on the country. You should also know that. What happens when population increases? If other indices of sustainable development are also in the picture, then the country will still be doing well. The important thing is as the population increases, the country should be able to put in a lot of indices that will create healthy and sustainable development in the nation.
Okay, Mr. Omoshein, your agency does monitoring and interventionist activities sometimes in the area of population. What do you think? Asia, Latin America, and the Caribbean has a children population of between about 1.7 billion globally. What does it mean now for the African continent and Nigeria in particular? How does this tie all of this time with the kind of youth population we have and the mortality rate that has dropped so far? What does it mean going forward?
Well, the truth is, it's unfortunate that Nigeria has one of the highest fertility rates in the world.
Did you say unfortunate?
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Why?
Fertility rate, by definition, means the average number of children that a woman will have.
And we have 5.5.
About 5.5.
So let's say like one woman is going to have like 6 children.
That is unfortunate. Well, you see, the truth is a family has the right to decide how many children they want to have. There's no doubt about that. But then when we talk about the rate at which the population grows, it's directly proportional to the fertility rate. Especially now that health services are improving and people are living longer. So you find that if you give birth to several children, the chances that all those children will survive to old age has increased, unlike before, when you see the child mortality rate was very high, and you have the chances of losing some of those children before they get into old age. So we should begin to ask ourselves, do we really still need to maintain this stance of having many children? That is the question. Because at the end of the day, you look at several factors. You want to look at the health of those children. When it comes to taking care of the health of people generally, not to talk of children, you need money, you need resources. You want to talk about the education of those children. Now, you don't want to have a child who is second-rated to his colleagues because you don't have resources to send that child to school. Education is very expensive. You want to look at the competition in the environment. You want to also look at the available resources and the number of people who are struggling for the same resources. So these are issues that we should consider. We shouldn't compare ourselves to, the Asian nations. They have a large, landmass. Unfortunately, our landmass is not as large as those countries. Like for instance, in the United States of America, I believe U.S. Landmass is much larger than Nigerian landmass. Now, why should we have the same population with U.S.? And that is what's going to happen by 2050 if we do not do something about our fertility rate.
So what are you expecting? What do you think should be done?
Well, there are several things that can be done.
Especially considering the fact that by September,
yes,
the MDGs will be changed to SDGs.
Yes. Now, the SDGs actually is a platform, to make sure that the gains that we have sustained, I mean, that we've
gotten through the Millennium Development Goals
are
sustained.
Are sustained.
Sustainable, yeah.
But you see, the truth is, when we talk about what we can do now, to take care of the future, there are several things. My colleague, Bimbola, has mentioned some of them. We have to invest in the youth. Population itself, as it is now, is not a cost. In fact, we can turn it to advantage for us. Because if we invest in the youths, we give them good skills, we make sure they are healthy, we make sure that we also give them sexuality education. Because all this hinges on the fact that we expect the youth to think better than we do and have less children. So that, even if the population is going to grow, continue to grow, it will not be at the rate at which it's growing now. It will slow down. And we'll have less people to depend on the working population.
Did you say you have, on a lighter note, did you say you expect the children to have less children?
Yes, I
Would
do.
you, the parents, let them? Because sometimes some parents will come. Did you say you want how many? 3? Is something wrong with you? Come on, give us more grandchildren.
Look at the trend now. Our parents had more children than we do. And I believe the trend is going to improve. And several countries, even in the developed world, started with a high fertility rate. And gradually you can see the fertility rate reduce.